I'm Sean Morgan. I'm here with Weaponization Watch, and we're here with Rachel Powell, J6 Defendant. And so, Rachel, I heard a little bit of what happened. Maybe you can catch us up to date.
Yeah, so as some people know, not enough people know, rebuilding your life after you get out of prison is pretty difficult. And so just over a year ago, I was released from prison thanks to President Trump. And since then, it's been really it's been really hard rebuilding. I've moved 4 times and recently I thought I had like the light at the end of the tunnel. And so I was able to buy a house and it did need it renovated. But that was fine with me. I'm handy. I have kids that are handy. One of my sons is a roofer. And so the plan was the current situation is I've been living in a camper with my 2 youngest kids in an off-grid muddy situation, but it's a roof over our heads, and we're going to move the camper to the house that I just bought literally like 2 weeks ago. And then the, the night before, my camper was supposed to be moved onto that property so we could start renovating. It was caught on fire and then burnt. And so it was like the wind just gets knocked out of me again, because it's like it's been hard. The last 5 years have been hard. Everything's been stripped from us. And well, now we're starting over again. And the current situation right now, the background looks good because I'm at an Airbnb because of, well, Cynthia Hughes has me here this month. Um, and I don't know, is it still called Patriot Freedom Project, or is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
part of the
still.
organization
Yeah,
watch?
exactly.
Or,
So, sister organizations, Patriot Freedom Project and Weaponization Watch.
okay, well, that's who has me here in a safe spot. Uh, because honestly, like I can't prove it. And I need to talk to the police and the fire marshal again. I had to send in pictures and videos and all that, but I personally believe it was arson, um, which makes that place kind of not safe until we know more. And so we were put here until the end of the month, anyways.
Okay, wow. And was anyone hurt in the fire?
No, because we didn't live there yet. And so we didn't have our belongings moved in. We had a lot of cleanup to start doing and then we hadn't even taken anything out as far as to remodel or anything yet.
Oh, wow.
The only thing we lost was like a few lamps that I used because we're off grid for light in the evening. We had moved those over the day before, so I didn't have to worry about those breaking as we moved the camper. And that was our only belongings that were in the house.
Yes. Well, what an exercise in your and you and your family for resilience to have to start over again so many times. And I know it must get exhausting, but that is such a spiritual practice to start over again.
Yeah,
And so it makes you count your blessings, doesn't it? That everyone's okay, that
right.
everyone's still alive, even your belongings have not largely been affected, and yet it's hard to start over even when you're counting your blessings. It's still so hard. So I'm happy that Patriot Freedom Project could help a little bit, and we want to help more. So that's why I wanted to record this video with you so we could share your story and see who could contribute and help you start your life over again on a better foot. So anything else that you want to say about your life, about your J6 defendant community, anything at all?
Um, well, I guess in the last year, I have learned a few things. Like there's women in prison that it's like they get out and then they go right back in. They get out and they go right back in. And for some of them, I understand why now. It is very, very, very hard to rebuild your life. And especially for January 6th people, some of us got out and we had houses and homes to go back to and families to go back to. And then there's some people that didn't have a home to go back to, they didn't have those things waiting there for them. And then when we were released on a pardon, it's not like there's goodwill programs that can help us get back on our feet. We're just like released with nothing. And so like we're so thankful for what President Trump did for us. My house might have just burned down, but I could still be sitting in prison. That's where I would still be right now if it wasn't for Trump. And so I think there's a balance between being thankful but also being grieved. And it's been an emotional roller coaster. And I honestly, I feel really guilty even asking or needing help because I thought for sure I'm going to get out of prison. I'm going to get back on my feet. This is going to be great. But it's like, every holiday, every birthday, everything that went on in the last year, I get together with my family and it's still not the same. It's not just rebuilding your life. It's like, your older kids that probably still would have been living with you because, they're not married or whatever, you have a holiday and you realize they're not living with you. You can't host the party anymore. You used to host the Thanksgivings, the Christmases, and I don't even have a house to host these parties. And why? Why? Because our government got out of control and was weaponized. I mean, there's really just no good reason for us to have to go through this. And it's not just me, but like my whole family. And so it's been very emotional and very traumatizing, not just going through the legal process and going through prison, but also rebuilding and seeing the after effects of everything. And so I feel bad. Like I really didn't think I'd need help at this point. By the time been out a year, I thought we would be settled and we're not. And so I'm just really thankful, not just for support, like financially, but also all the support that we've gotten just by people who care and, the phone calls and the messages and the how are you doings? Because regular people that get out of prison when they don't have that, like we've had from the January 6th community, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they emotionally get through these things. And so I'm really thankful for people, even the people out there that the only thing they can do is like say a prayer for us. That's huge. People that just are like, you can do this, and they're encouraging. I'm so indebted to those people as well because I can't, I don't know how I would do this without those people
Yes.
behind me.
Yeah, absolutely. That support system is so important, and it's when you have a weaponized government, people who maybe have never been in the criminal justice system get a peek at what it's like and how it can chew you up and spit you out, and how you learn how important and how valuable support system is and so many different types of support. And I
Right.
know the reason why Cynthia started Patriot Freedom Project was because of her nephew and realizing that there needs to be a support system. And she's talking about other organizations to help women have a safe place. Now that you've experienced this, thinking really long term, is that something that you would be interested in doing, is helping women possibly have safety and security in a support system?
Yes, because it's very necessary. Like, I mean, if that house, like for example, me right now, if that house was really caught on fire, imagine if I'm sitting there living in my camper, not knowing if that person's going to come back or do something else. Like, where would I be right now if it wasn't for support? And I can't tell you how many times through this last year it's been like to have somebody pick me up and kind of give me a pep talk, a little bit of guidance. That's huge. It's huge, especially. I don't I mean, I'm a girl, so I'm emotional. I'm not always logical. And so sometimes I need a little extra guidance and I need to be pointed like back in the right direction and refocused. And, what are you doing, Rachel? And so that's been huge. And so if I can get through this and then be able to do that for other women, it would be a huge blessing. At least it would give purpose for what I'm going through. I mean, currently the only thing I've been able to do is like make a few videos of what's going on in the prison system, what I've seen with my own eyes, because most people don't understand what is happening, the trauma that's going on to women. We're not rehabilitating women. We're traumatizing them more and setting them up for this cycle of going back into prison and their families ending up in prison. That's all we're doing is creating a big machine that just recycles people and takes their money and spits them back out worse off than they were. And that all needs to change if we're going to make America strong and healthy again.
Absolutely. And I know Cynthia has big plans for something like that that she's going to be announcing on her X account. So everyone can keep following Weaponization Watch and Cynthia Hughes to learn more about that. Rachel, thank you for sharing your story. We're going to put the word out there so people can support you in more ways than one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.